What is the thing which gets people started in self improvement? Gets which got me started in self improvement, which will potentially get you started in self improvement. Why do you want to improve in the first place? Because if you clicked on this video, then it is true that you do want to improve. But the question arises, why? When I was at the starting of my self improvement journey, I didn't start taking action. Okay, let me just be raw here, truthful here. Didn't just go out working out every single day, staying consistent. I didn't quit all of my habits in one day. I quit all of my bad habits in one day. I didn't build willpower in one day. It was a gradual process. It was a gradual process before I even got started. And I would attribute the starting of my so-called self improvement journey to just consuming, just like mindlessly consuming shit. Because when you start doing that, when I started to like listen to podcasts and shit, not really podcasts but more long form videos, I was doing this to like stimulating myself with self improvement content when I was going to sleep. I mean, that wasn't a good habit by any means, but it is what got me started. Because at that time I was not happy with my life. I mean, I still am not really that satisfied with where I am. I was not happy with my life. I wanted social validation. And I can tell you that I started self improvement to get validation from others. I wanted to be a somebody. I wanted to be a dude, a capable person. And I wanted to be charismatic. I wanted to be a kind of person that others would want to hang out with. I wanted women. And that I watched content on how to do exactly that. How do I become charismatic? In the hope to get an answer which will finally make me charismatic and make me feel good about myself. That what drove me was a huge amount of unhappiness or dissatisfaction about how I am living my life. And even before that, I that I wanted to go to play football. I wanted to play like really good football, but I never, because again, social validation. I wanted it because I was receiving shit as I was not good at football. That like I felt not good in basically a lot of things in my school, and I wanted to get the social validation that comes with being good at football. I wanted to be a part of the football team. So yeah, I'm like, if I practiced the entire summer holidays, I'll be good enough to join the team. But I never got to it. Maybe practiced like 1 or 2 or 3 times. That amount of like built up unhappiness and dissatisfaction that made me watch content and like stuff like dopamine detoxes. I think that's what made me start a dopamine detox, because I was just tired of living the mediocrity, living the quality of life that I was living. And when I started, and it wasn't anything majestic, by the way. It was just me listening to content. But there's something magical in that. There's something about unproductively. Maybe I stumbled onto something which got me started into my self improvement journey. When I knew there was the things that I made me unhappy, and I basically searched it up. I watched YouTube videos, and then I stumbled onto on Spotify. I stumbled onto Hamza Ahmed, who made videos about like women, how to get women, and started watching some of his content, some of his long form content about looks maxing. Even before that, I was watching content on how to look better because I eventually wanted to get girls. I watched stuff on Spotify about like a podcast on how to be charismatic and shit. That was a podcast I listened to, how to talk to girls. Basically, yeah, I'm telling all of this shit. And that's why I want you to do this. It may be what I'm telling you to do, it may not be the most productive thing. And this advice, I'm hesitating to give this advice to people because a lot of you watching this video will be past the stage where you need this information. But if you are like living the sort of life where you are kind of watching these kinds of videos because you're unhappy with your life, thing number one. Number two, you haven't taken much action. Like dopamine detox is nothing, like actions to build good habits, break bad habits. You haven't really did anything to take responsibility, to take back, slowly fight back for the control of your life and to take responsibility of it. And you haven't taken action to do any of that. You just started watching this content. You just started watching a little bit of this content, and that's basically it. That's basically your entire self-improvement journey described in a few words. Then take a notepad, take something and note this down, note this shit down. What I'm gonna tell you is to write down what makes you unhappy. That's what's going to drive you. What are the shit which you are dissatisfied with? What are the shit that makes life dissatisfying for you? What are the things that you want to improve? That what are the things that you know need improvement? This could be what in 1 month that I want to become good at football so that I can go and make the football team. That never happened, by the way. I fucking failed. It could be in maybe my studies are shit. Maybe my studies are what's gonna lead me into a good job. Like I'm telling this even though I know that's not a good career path to follow if you want to actually make money. For some people it can be in my I'm not getting time. Even though I have so much time, I'm never getting time to do shit because it just keeps going away in the pleasures designed to take my time. For some people it could mean I look like shit. For some people what if the thing that you're dissatisfied about is women? What if it's friends? What is it that you want to be popular? What if you are unhappy that someone else is able to like date the woman that you want, but you aren't capable enough, you aren't high value enough to go and attract her? What if your goal is woman? What if your goal is money, status? It can be any of this shit. Because and then it's like I'm not gonna tell you to pick purposeful, meaningful goals. Maybe your goal is to become good at fighting. You can knock the motherfuckers around you down. Maybe you don't want to be pushed around anymore. Maybe you want to assert yourself in social interactions and in conversations. And this is what gets people started. It's not usually, at least for me, it wasn't like love and purpose that got me started. It was desire. It was anger, desire, which turned into the courage for me to take action. Well, courage for me to watch content, and that content that I watched somehow convinced me that the activities and the stuff of self-improvement, the dopamine detoxes, the removing of pleasures, the removing of bad habits, building good habits, like living the life where you can actually kind of be productive, and then building the good habits of going to the gym, like improving oneself. They convinced me that taking the actions to improve oneself was the journey to become charismatic, getting social attention, getting social validation. And it was true. I was also working on, one of my goals was improving my confidence. One of my goals was becoming the kind of person that people want to hang around with, along with some of the other goals I had. So that's the action step that I want you to leave this video with, because you are going to watch a lot more content, because I know your brain is messed up, that focusing on an unedited, uncut video, that's a challenge for you. So write down all of the things. After you just wrote down all of the things that is making you unhappy, I want you even to watch long form unedited, like long form guides, long form courses, long form podcasts that are available on like freely available on internet. These are like high quality stuff. The YouTuber Hamza Ahmed that I told, he makes good ones. Like, you can watch. There are really good podcasts available, like Joe Rogan, Jordan B. Peterson. I'm not sure. And some of these podcasts is like Diary of a CEO, Joe Rogan, Jordan B. Peterson. I'm just naming whatever shit comes in my mind. There are people who made these guides for you to improve. And why I'm saying guides is that it the way you are right now, your brain is probably so messed up with like scrolling, with porn, masturbation. Your attention span and stimulation in your brain is basically messed up, that it will train you to just sit down and watch long form content. This advice is not for everyone. This advice is not for people who are already like on their self improvement journey. This advice is for the losers whose life is pretty fucked up. I mean, I was one too. And every time I pause, every time I stay silent, don't you want to click away? How much willpower do you need to use to finish this video? To not go down that dopamine rabbit hole after clicking off this video, to go around and actually write that stuff and actually like start consuming the quality content. Because you're not quality content, no content is useful unless you're not taking action at the level that some people are at the level in which I started. The watching like long form content, I may be taking action, I may not be taking action, but that changed my beliefs, my values, that the way that I thought, which further led to actions. And when you feel like after watching this content that you need to do this, even though there may be resistance, that even though it may be hard, try to do it. Try to let that the content that you're watching influence your thoughts, words and actions as much as possible. I'm going to repeat what I said. This stuff isn't for everybody. But if the words that I'm saying, if the advice that I'm giving right now, if it's for you, believe me, you would know. I'm rooting for you. Take action. Peace.